They had a rough landing as the winds of the Egyptian desert blew their spacecraft around like a kite. But finally, the crew of the lunar science mission had landed in the Republic of Kasad, a nation that had just joined the Alliance. The Alliance, now armed with an abundance of science, were absolutely baffled when the NK Empire proposed a trade. The deal was all of the Minmus science for all of the Moon science. The Alliance thought long and hard about this trade. The Empire and the Alliance were already nearly technologically the same, but the Empire still had the production of methane under their belt. The amount of science that had been collected from Minmus was almost the same amount collected from the Moon. The Alliance could hoard the knowledge for themselves, but in doing so, they would literally be cutting themselves short by almost half of the technology that they could have had. The Empire saw that the Alliance was on the fence about the trade. They knew that sooner or later, the Alliance would figure out how to produce methane themselves, so they threw in the knowledge of the production of methane to sweeten the deal. The Alliance couldn't pass that up, and finally agreed to the trade. With the science gained from the trade, new and wonderful technologies would be unlocked. Larger, more powerful engines, robotic parts, docking ports, just to name a few. Scientists and engineers of the Alliance debated whether or not they should use the science to create a type of mobile science lab. This lab would be put on future spacecraft, allowing the astronauts to break down and analyze the science immediately after collecting it. They could then transmit all of the science directly to headquarters, allowing them to then transmit 100% of the science gained. However, the argument was that as of right now, the ships would be returning back to Kerbin with the science anyway, so the science could be better used elsewhere. The colonization of other worlds was now in sight and almost within reach. But with technology becoming more readily available to the nations of the world, some nations saw a future where space would hold untold riches and glory. The Zagonia Dominion would offer their services to ferry goods, people, and supplies into orbit for less than half of the price that the Alliance orbiter was costing. The orbiter used the older, smaller, single-stage rocket technology, or SSRT, to get into orbit. This technique, while much cheaper than throwaway staging rockets, was already in the crosshairs of another design called the SSTO spaceplane. It already had been done once before, but the technology of the time was too limited for it to be of any use. The Zagonia Dominion would double down on the future of spaceplanes and begin their development and dominion over that corner of the market. Finally, after 2.5 years of interplanetary space travel, the Aurora would return. Even though their fuel was nearly depleted, and they were coming back with an injured astronaut, the mission would be considered a success. With the overwhelming science that the Alliance now had, they would unlock new technologies and give the Aurora a badly needed upgrade. It would seem that their trade deal that they had made with the Empire was a smart move, as now they not only had the science from the Moon and Minmus, but as luck would have it, now they would have the science from Eve as well. This would put them back in the lead of technological supremacy. However, the Empire was about to shock the world again.